everyone, it's Mich here, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. And if you are one of my returning crafty friends and kindred spirits, I'm so happy that you're here with me today. Today is going to be another week in the Collage with Mich. This is just a challenge that I put together starting in April that has a word and a prompt. You can use them any way that you like, and you can use any format that you want. I'm actually using the Rolodex, and there's some examples here, but I'm also using the Memorydex as well. I started wanting to use my Rolodex. I've been wanting to do this project for a while, just kind of playing with it, and so that's where I started. But when I was looking for some, inspiration or what other people were doing with Rolodex challenges, I came across the Memorydex, and I decided that I wanted to do it on the Memorydex as well. So with the Memorydex, as you can see, the style is a lot more cutesy and whimsical sometimes than the Rolodex. So I kind of like doing the different styles. Makes my brain think a little bit more. And I'm building up quite a collection. This one is one of my favorites. It was the file folder one. So I made a little file folder with a couple little documents inside. I really like the fresh look that these ones are. And then with the Rolodex, it's a little bit grungier, a little bit more vintage style, I guess. And then I've also been doing most weeks a postcard, and then sending these out to one of you guys. I kind of like that one. That was the pocket one. I do have a Facebook group. It's called Mich Crafty Community, and we are sharing our ideas and projects on the Facebook. So if you're interested in that, you can look at the description box below. Today's week 17. No, it isn't. That was last week. Today's week 18. Wow. And the word is fly, and tag is your prompt. Now I'm going to start with the postcard because I think I thought it might take time to dry, but I've already taken some of my distress oxides and then I've smushed them onto a little piece of plastic. I've sprayed with a little water and then just kind of smushed them around just to start with my background. Now I haven't done this on camera because I just wanted it to have time to dry. So what I'm going to do now is just get out my craft mat, and I've got a few stencils here, so I thought that I would do some stenciling in the background and then a little bit of stamping and then put my focal points down. So I'm just going to get out some of my inks again, and I've got these ones here. So let's start with Speckled Egg. Now the image that I'm going to use for this one is from one of Marta's book, one of her images. I forget which one. I have a couple of them. Now I bought them through Amazon, and the first two that I bought were the ones that she intended when she was making them, and that was, the cover feels a little bit waxy and the pages are not thick, but they're thicker than a magazine page as such, and they were great. And then Amazon Canada started to do the printing, and I'm finding that it's just like buying a magazine, like my Daphne's Diary, which I was quite disappointed in, really. But anywho, right. So then I'm just going to use a little bit of frayed burlap to get a little bit of this, and I don't want the background to overtake anything at all. I just want to add a little bit of interest to it. Let's see. I got these all in Create stencils through, I think, scrapbook.com, and I really love them. Oops, that's a bit dark. Okay, and then I just wanted, I was thinking a little bit of the fossilized amber, so just a little bit of kind of like a yellowy in the background. I think I'll go back to this one. It's Saturday night. I started this morning, but then other things cropped up. It's a gorgeous day, very cool today, which is nice. I have my long sleeve sweater on today. Okay, so I might just do something right in the middle, but I'm thinking that I might do some vintage photo and see how that goes. Chester, he's having a nap down in the bedroom. He's still not adjusting well to his diet, poor fella. But I find he has a little bit more energy than what he normally has. So that's a good sign. I haven't put him on the scales yet, though. So I'm not sure. I did weigh him when he started. So we'll see how it goes. But he was out here. He just thinks he's hungry all the time, like me. I'm telling him, but him and I both have issues we need to deal with. Okay, so then that's my background. I think we'll leave it there. And my saying is, until you spread your wings, you have no idea how far you'll fly. And I found this little fairy, and I thought she was so sweet. And then I have, it's almost like she's talking to the little butterfly. So I liked that. And then I picked out a couple stickers that I thought, I wasn't sure which one I liked the best. If I liked yellow to sort of match her, or I really liked like the rocks, like she's kind of sitting, I like this one better, like she's kind of sitting on the shore. So I like that one. But before I do that, I want to do some stamping. And I pulled out just a bunch of my stamping pads. I'd also like to do a little bit more, I think. I'm just not getting the right blue for my background. So what if I just use a little bit of this broken china? I'm just going to borrow, or actually the patina. But let's just try this one. I don't want to get too much on there because this is a juicy pad. This ink pad even was leaking. So I don't have my ink pads on their sides because I'm always afraid they're gonna leak out. Yeah, I like this blue better. Yeah, that's nicer. And then I think I'll use this just to make a little border around there. So as far as the tag part goes, I've tried to create the postcard kind of like a tag. So it's got the corners and the slot there. Because this is going to go in the mail, I'm not going to put a ribbon or something there, but there, I kind of like that. And then, right, so then I just want to get out a little bit of my stamping and just do a little bit of stamping. See if that's right side up. So just kind of go through, do a little stamping, adds a little interest to the page. And I just use a baby wipe, usually just to wipe off the stamp. And then This was a tag. I got this tag, which I kind of thought about using, but I don't think I actually want to put a stamped tag there. But I do want to use, like, here's some numbers. I think that'll look cute. I'm just gonna stick it down. Like so. Yeah, that's cute. I feel like I got a bit of a stuffy nose tonight. Okay, and then I kind of like this round one. And we'll come off the page a little bit there. Maybe go up there. Get that. I think I was saying on one of my videos, my parents moved out of the city and into the country. And I'm really envious. They're really loving it. And they love their house. And I'd like to move to where they are. Because it just seems like such a nice area. It's, traffic's so much better. And so I live in hope that I'll get out of town. I'll get out of town. Okay, and then I just want to do, I think, a little bit of music. Always nice to have a little bit of music in your life. So I'm just going to stamp on there. And then I don't care how well it shows up. Okay, and I think that's good. You get the picture for the stamping. And now I could also do some splatters on the background, which I think sometimes adds. And then to do splatters, I've got this old brush here. And I'm just going to wet it. Get that nice and wet. And then if you add some ink or something, I think my splatters are going to be frayed burlap. And so I'm just going to smush a little bit down on there. And I'll add some more water. And then I'll just do that. Now I might not, my sticker might not stick onto that, but okay. And then just clean off my brush. I keep this old brush for that purpose. And then I have a piece of paper towel. All right. So we've got that. And I'll just dry it a little bit. I could set it aside and then come back to it. Yeah, I think I'll just set that aside and move on to. So my Rolodex, I've already put just some coffee dyed lined paper on the background. And I want to do the same thing. I just want to do a little bit of stenciling. But I should have brought over my other stencils, but I didn't. Over to my desk, and it's up on the bookcase. So I think I'll use this, but I'll just clean off this yellow. I'm not going to do a lot of stenciling in the background. Just a little bit of something to add. And I'm just going to do it in the frayed burlap. I can find my brush. I think it's there. Frayed burlap is one of my favorite colors to use. I just really like it. And I'm just going to add a little bit. I got my bookcase up in my new bookcase I got at IKEA there a while back. And I don't have anything on it yet, but I like it. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a little more, just a little bit of stamping on there. What about if I use this one? 1, 2, 3. At the side. Kind of like that a bit. And with this one here, I've got a bunch of things to collage in the background. I wanted to get this video out tonight because I want to do another Daphne's Diary for tomorrow. So I want to get this out. I want to get this finished. For sure. Okay, I think that's good. If I feel I need to do a little bit more stamping, I can. So for this one here, I've pulled out this image, the little fairy, and she's saying something that I don't know where there it is. And she says, take those broken wings and learn to fly. So I like that. I pulled out some of this cording, some of this ribbon that I was thinking I would put down there. And then for this one here, I just pulled out a bunch of tags that I had already. And then just a couple, just little bits of paper I had in my stash, kind of for background, like so. Okay, and then I thought that that would go kind of in the background, and we'd have her, and then there was the number, I picked out the number 3. Where's that? That I thought could go in the collage, either in behind, and she could go there. And then I had a number of tags, kind of liking that one. I think I like it better than this one. Yeah, I like this. I like the size of this one. So we'll get that distressed a little bit. Okay, and we'll get that in the background. And her. And then I was thinking this ribbon, and I think I'll put it, if I put it across there, I'm going to have to cut it, and I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking I'll put it across there when I'm ready. All right, so let's think about this composition. Now with this one here, like I said, I like to distress a little bit just to have things blending. And I think I'd like to have another one of these tags. I think I like this one because it has words on the side and stuff. So let's get this all down, and then she's going to go on the front of it. So I'm thinking, get that out of the way. Oh, and I had this little flower too. I thought that was nice. I watched the other day, it was rainy here. Must have been last weekend. I watched The Secret Garden again. And I love that movie. I remember loving it as a kid. All right, so let's get some of this down. Go put this down first. Just to get some things in the background. I'm not going to be too fussy with how they go down. I had to fill up my glue thing too earlier. I just use the Elmer's glue all. I get it at usually Michael's, not the school glue, but the glue all. It has less water in it. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. And then I can put her down sort of over top of it all. But maybe we'll go like so, I guess. And I should have put maybe a little hole in here to represent the tag more. What if I do that? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And then my words are going to go down here. So take those broken wings and learn to fly. That's what we need to do sometimes. Life can have its hardships for sure. But sometimes we need to just live again. It's going to be hard. After my mother died, it was really hard. For sure. We were very close, my mom and I. We talked all the time on the phone. When I lived in the UK, we talked all the time. When I was here, we talked every day pretty near. And we always did things together. Okay, so take those broken wings and learn to fly. And then I'm just going to get a little bit of the Fabri-Tac. I have to stick that upside down. So I think I'm finished with the tags now. I do have this flower. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll put that there and put her there. Yeah. We've been having the best summer so far. As far as it's just really hasn't been that hot. And that is my dream summer. I don't know how you guys, my crafty friends down south, deal with the heat. Oh my. I used to love the heat and going, but now that I'm older, oh, this is stuck. It's getting, I have to get a new bottle of this. Can hardly get that open. There we go. Okay, so I'll just put a little bit of that Fabri-Tac down, my ribbon. And then get her tacked down, and I think that's all I intended for this one. I can trim that ribbon after that dries. Oh. The thing with the Fabri-Tac is it can be stringy. Okay. Scissors aren't sharp anymore. All right, so how do you like that one? I think it's pretty good. All right, so then we're going to go back to this one. And for the tag, like I said, the whole thing is a tag. And then I've got this stuff. It's still a bit damp, but I think it's going to be fine. These are the ones I wanted here, this rock. And then I also have, I just pulled out of my stash just some little bits I could use for the background. And I liked this frame because I felt she could sit in the frame. And I was going to get it already, but I forgot. So we'll just get that apart. I'm watching Creatures Great and Small again. You guys are going to think, my gosh, that woman's... I'm watching it for like the 5th time now, and it's the new one. They'll soon have another season out. I think October they bring it out in the UK. So it's just easy watching, because a lot of times when I'm watching telly, I'm embroidering, or I'm doing something else. I'm not actually sitting and watching everything. So, and it's just an easy watch. Kind of like that. And then I had one of these. Or maybe this blue. I think these are blue. I like that color better. Put that behind. And I did like this graph paper. So what do I think about? Yeah, I think I'll like it. And so I'm just going to get this down with a little bit of glue. The postcard's warped because it got wet. That's okay. Right, and then I'm going to get this down. Just get that down. I can't forget my saying, which is over here. I'm just going to put that, and then it will ground picture as well. It's just I trim them up, and then it's hard to get a hold of the backing paper. There we go. Okay, so then this one is, until you spread your wings, you'll have no idea how far you can fly. And that's the little butterfly is saying that to our little fairy girl, and she's had a bad day, but she had a bit of an attitude today, needed an adjustment. Okay, and then this is just down with glue. There's no sticker back on that one. So let's say about there. Like so. Okay, and the thing with the ink is that it's water reactive, so the glue can move it around, but okay, and then we'll get that down, and then we'll get her down. And then we'll get her little friend, Mr. Butterfly. Because you can even see her little eyes looking up at him, thinking, I don't really need you to tell me that. And he's saying, you need to listen to me, because I'm older and wiser. And I want it so that it's looking like she is looking up at him. And then this one's done. Isn't that cute? Okay, so then where'd that one go? There's those two. So let me clear the decks here for the last card will be the Rolodex. Let's put this in the garbage. And with the Rolodex, I've pulled out a bunch of things here. So I've got this piece of paper that's as wide as my Rolodex, but I want to actually create a little tag like so, and then just try to get it sort of resembling a tag, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to take my slot punch, just eyeball it, and then I've got a little piece of ribbon here, so this can be like a little secret place where you could do some journaling. So I'm not going to do much to the inside of that right now, but that's the idea. Okay, and then it's held together by the ribbon. It's not even. Goodness. I found this pop I don't drink pop usually. I just drink water and coffee. And but I was over at Costco, and it's called Poppi, I guess, Poppi, and it has very little sugar, like as in minuscule amount, and it has some fiber and stuff, so I'm kind of liking that. It's refreshing. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I pulled out that I thought, so the saying on this one that I'm going to put down, I just need to check where I'm going to put my slots. I'm just going to put that down. And then I'm going to put that like so. There we go. Okay, so my saying for that is, you don't need wings to fly. But before I put that down, I'm going to put down, got this little doily I want to push, like so. As a little bit of just background. And I'll cut off the bottom portion. Like that. Get it kind of even. Even Steven. It's not lining up for me here. Okay, that's good. And then I'm not gonna put holes in it, but I'm not gonna glue it completely at the bottom. So it could go still possibly into the Rolodex. And if not, I'll just cut it off. All right, and then I have some ribbon for this one. I've got 2 little pieces of ribbon that I thought I would put down. And the saying, I wanted it just above, maybe there. But let's just get the ribbon down next for this one. Thought this one was going to be cute. Cutesy cutesy. I want to start doing some little mini album, junk journal little things. Flip albums, whatever you want to call them. I think I'll put the saying up in there somewhere. And not down at the bottom. And this pink ribbon is so pretty. So feminine. Alright, let's pull that. Alright, so I'll have that. I don't think I need the Fabri-Tac. Okay, and then you don't need wings to fly. And so I've got this hot air balloon, but also I thought it would be a play on with the butterfly itself. And then I just pulled out a few bits there. So I've got a ticket. I thought that would go there. And then I could put the ticket over there. Yeah. I'm going to put the ticket, I think I'll put the ticket there. So let's get that down. In the background. And then I'm going to actually put the hot air balloon up on dimensionals. For sure. It's almost 9 o'clock here at night. I'm feeling a bit tired. Right, so I'm going to get those up on dimensionals like so. Ticket. And then a little butterfly. Then I have this little mulberry flower, maybe. It's like homemade paper. Before I put that down, though, I'm going to cut this off now. And I just thought this would be like a cute idea for the Memorydex, but also an idea like for your junk journal to have your hidden, or having a little hidden tag in there. And so I wanted to put that there. I have this little white one, but I was thinking that I might put a gem in the middle. And where's our saying gonna go? That's your ticket to ride over there. I could put it right there and pull that over, and that's just above those. Yeah, that's where I think I'll put it. It covers a little bit of the ribbon, but you can still see. I could have cut it into different words and then just scattered them over. That is hard to get because I've cut that so small. There we go. So I hope everybody's doing okay. I know there's so much going on in the world today. There. Okay, so that's cute. And then I'm going to get this down, a balloon. Sorry if I keep snuffing. My nose is dry. Okay, then we have our balloon. And then I'm thinking to get, I like the dimension of that flower too, because it's quite dimensional. And then let's think about what next. I could put the butterfly up on dimensionals too, or actually what I think I'll do is I was thinking about just putting him on one dimensional, sort of at the bottom, so it looks like he's kind of lifted up, or at the top, I mean, but yeah, why not? Where'd those dimensionals go? So I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals at the very top, like so, and then I'll put a little bit of glue at the bottom, and then it kind of looks like he's lifted up, like he's gonna fly once that adheres. And then I love this little heart, which I was gonna put up there, and then put that little flower there. But then I was thinking about something kind of like in the middle there. I could put that little heart in there. How would that look? I think that would look cute. Okay. So I'll just get that down. So, and then with this, I didn't really like, I wanted something, I don't know if I can get that off there, without ripping it. I wanted something a little bit more noticeable. So I wanted to take this center out. There. And then get this down. Kind of over here. Like so. And then use a gem for the middle. And I wanted to use maybe a pink gem. Let's see. A bigger pink gem. Maybe. Or blue. Sometimes decisions cause me. Yeah, blues. I like blue. Okay, so I think we've got it for today. We have our, clear some room here. We have our 3 cards for today. We have our Memorydex, which is kind of cute. We have our tag shape card, and then you don't need wings to fly, which you don't. Then we have our Rolodex, take these broken wings and learn to fly. I thought that was kind of cute. And then we have our postcard. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I'd love for you to have a like and subscribe if you haven't. But until we meet again, I do hope that you stay safe and well, and bye for now.